For a little bit of context, could you give us kind of an overview of OfferUp as a marketplace today, and maybe touch on some of the unique aspects of it?
Yeah. I think overall, like I was saying today, I really think my vision was always to build a marketplace for local, full stop. And what I mean by that, it's kind of a challenging world we live in, where it's easier to get an item delivered to you from China than it is down the street. That's where we live. So how do you unlock all this friction? And so, again, I think this is a good input. I just hold out, I take a photo, I can message and chat, great. But how do you build on a marketplace kind of over time? And so, we do, since I started OfferUp, probably over $230 billion with a B in transactions. So we do over 40 billion a year. We're probably one of the largest, I don't know, probably maybe even top 10 marketplaces in the world in terms of just GMV and sell-through. And then we've got, so that was an important metric. But the other one is also just scale. I always would look at size of populations. And so I mentioned LA, Seattle's about 25% of all the adults every month. So you go, okay, great. You got all this, we got a good foundation of usage of local activity. Now, what do you do with that? And so we just launched local jobs very, very recently. We'll explore other types of businesses and opportunities we can layer on to the marketplace we've built. We'll explore things like last mile and how do we continue to, solve some of that, the logistical challenges there. So again, I go to the end at the end of the day, it's all about this funnel. It's all about removing, friction. And so, I think we optimized a lot for simplicity. That was a core kind of tenet. And the other one was trust. I think Craigslist, it's just shocking to me that company never put time into trust and safety. And that gave us a huge opportunity because even before we raised outside money, we were already investing in things like trust and safety. Even the basics, how about just a profile and a rating system, right? What it's just, and so I think that was our opportunity. So we said, let's be simple, let's be trusted, let's make it delightful. Let's make it a really nice browsing experience. Imagine if Craigslist was a retail store and you would go in there and you would just look at tags, right? That's what Craigslist is. Who shops by looking at text? Nobody, right? And so I said, no, this just needs to be pictures. And so now you can look around and there's Instagram and all that, but there was no Instagram when we launched. There was no Pinterest on an app when we launched. And so I just had this idea that, I think shopping is an engaging, visual experience. Let's just make it like that in an app. So I think that is kind of the overall idea of OfferUp, is to make it enjoyable, but to kind of be your local marketplace on a lot of dimensions. But you can't do all that day one. Like I said, we're 11 years in now. We still haven't done a ton of things I wanted to do. So if I think of the last decade, it was all about getting scale and usage that you can now leverage to build other things on top of.